Hi and good morning. I thought I would like to do an experiment, and I thought I would bring you guys along with me. So this is to do some dyeing for tags in my swap journal. It's a friendship journal, and I'm going to be swapping it on Junk Journal Junkies. I have a variety of papers here. Primarily, what I thought I would use is this 8x5 or 5x8 index card. It is lined on one side and blank on the other. And then I have a piece of previously coffee dyed paper. I have a heart doily that was previously dyed. And then I have just an assortment of scrapbook papers, printed, plain, various colors. So what I've done so far is I've put a small amount of water in some aluminum foil. This is what I usually do my tea dyeing in, my coffee dyeing, are just aluminum pans that I can reuse. And so some of them may have a little bit of coffee stain also already in there, which I don't think is going to make any difference. I was looking for my baby oil and I didn't find it. So I'm just going to use the vegetable oil. My grandmother, when I was growing up, would dye Easter eggs. And when she dyed her Easter eggs, she always had these mottled colored Easter eggs, and they were always a mystery to me, but I loved them. I always thought they were the most beautiful. So all I'm going to do is put like a teaspoon of vegetable oil in each of my pans, and I'm going to do a yellow, a red, whoops, that's a little more than a teaspoon, a green, a yellow, a blue, a red, and a green. I think those are the colors that I have. And I have 4 pans. I have another one off to the back side where you probably can't see it. I'm just going to mix that around because, as we know, oil and water don't mix. But they do leave bubbles and oil patches, which is kind of at the heart of this process. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of white vinegar, just plain old white vinegar that you use to clean your coffee maker and I'm just going to put about a teaspoon of white vinegar into each of these pans also. And mostly in the dyeing process, it's just a setting agent. I don't know that it's going to make any difference, but I'm going to use it anyway. And then I'm going to mix that around. Okay, and as you can hear, because I've started doing a video, my dogs have decided to be rambunctious. So I will apologize for any distraction. And these are just plain old, frosting, grocery store variety, baking food coloring sets. And this is a fairly old one. Okay, so I'll do the primary colors first. So in this pan, I'm just going to put a good squeeze of blue. And then I'm in the green one, I might as well stick with the green. I don't know, it's like 4 or 5 drops. Not an exact science. It's not for me. Someone out there may want to be more exact, but that will be up to you to experiment. Okay, so I've got the color in. Then I have to stir that around again. And I'm going to get myself a paper towel so I can wipe the spoon off in between. Okay, so here's the blue. You can see it doesn't really doesn't go into all of the water. It's kind of works its way out. I do have some bumps and grooves in the pan though too, so. Just gonna mixing the red now, which is a pretty red. And then I will wipe the spoon off. I'll bring this pan over where you can see it. And this is the yellow one. And while I have the yellow over here, and I just have a pan set up over to the side with just some papers on it that I can put these cards on. I'm going to do, let me get some more of these 3x5 cards out because I want to do a few of these. And this is what, if this works pretty well, this is what I may build most of my tags on. So I'll show you, I'm just going to take the paper and kind of dip it down into the water. And this is even like a cake decorating pair of tweezers, but I like it because it has that flat, it has a flat kind of broad end that I can grab the paper with. And we'll have to see what this looks like after it dries because I have no idea. I know that eggs done this way are beautiful. Okay, so you can see it's kind of blotchy and it's yellow, so you can't really tell what the color is yet. Pull my pan over a little so I don't drip yellow food coloring all over. Oh, that on the white background of the paper, you can kind of see the yellow in there. So that's that. And since the yellow is so light, I think I'm going to move on to a different color and see if it gets any darker. I'm just going to wipe my tweezers off. Alright, so that was yellow on a 5x8. Here is another 5x8, and this is the blue pan. And we will just dip that down in there. Swish it around a little bit. Get it all over the paper. I may try just turning this one over once. Ooh, this one looks really pretty. Okay, and then I'm going to lift that up. And that's what that looks like. I really don't want to overlap the yellow and the blue, although a little bit of extraneous color isn't going to be a big deal. So, and that's what the blue one looks like. And you can see the colors kind of coming out in the yellow one too. So that's really pretty. I like that. You just kind of... Okay, and then we will wipe the color off is primarily what I'm doing, trying to wipe the blue off. I'm going to swap the blue for the green and grab another 3x5 card and my tweezers, and we will put this in the green. Kind of squish it around a little. And I'm going to pick it up and turn it over. I'm going to roll it around a little. I think that makes a difference to kind of move it across the surface of the paper. I think it moves the color a little bit. And then I'm just going to flip it over and do it again. My journal is kind of along the lines of a friendship garden, so these I think will be good colors for tags. And I think maybe I will just overlap a little because I think it might help bring more of the color out. But look at that green. I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but in person that's pretty good. Okay, I wipe some of the green off. And I'm going to bring in the red as easy as I can because I don't want it all over my kitchen. Okay, so that's the red. And here's another 5x8 card. And I'm going to slide that in there. and swish it around a little bit. And then flip it over. Get it all down in there and swish it a little more. And then, I'm going to find another piece of paper to put the red on because I don't want to overlap that right now. I will just put it on the back of this grocery store ad. These tweezers are great for this. Okay, so that's a 3x5 card in each of the colors, or a 5x8 card in each of the colors. Let's see, since I have the red right there, I'm going to, now this is a previously coffee stained heart doily, and I'm going to put this into the red. Kind of swish it around a little. Grab it with these nice flat tweezers and flip it over. Okay. And then I will put this, I put this right on that edge of that. Well, maybe not in that position, maybe in that position. So it looks more like a heart if it has any impact on the dyeing. Okay. So also in that red, well, I think I'm going to put that in the green. Maybe the red. Yeah, I'll put this kind of orange and pink and green, and it just has a kind of peachy background. I will put that in the red also. The good news is this costs next to nothing to do, and it's all just household products. So that's what the peach background looks like with it. And then that's what the front looks like right now. I don't know if that will change. I'll just put that here with the other red things. Try to move it so it's not going to be all over everything. There we go. And let's see. I want the green back in here. I am going to try double dipping some stuff. I don't know if I want to dip it while it's wet or wait until it dries, but you get the idea. I'm just putting it down in here. I haven't got as much water. This green pan is a plastic pan and it has ridges in the bottom that kind of hold the paper up. Drain grids. And that's the black and white side. That's the inverse of the pattern on the back. So that's what that looks like. I'm just going to pick it up. It's the black side, and that's the white side. And I will just put this over here to dry. I probably will have some overlap in color, simply because I don't have the space right now to lay it all out and let it dry individually. But when I'm done, I will come back and I will show you some of the results. Oh, wait a minute. First things first, let's do this. Let's see if I take yellow. Get the yellow one out. So there's the yellow. There's an 8x5 card. I'm going to swish it around a little and get it all kind of crazy. Flip it over and let it get a little bit more crazy. And then I want to bring the red one in. So hang on, let me move this. So I want to see if I can get a little bit of an orange going. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this yellow piece. I'm taking the yellow piece out of the pan. I'm just kind of shaking it off a little bit. Get some of the drips off. Trying not to make a mess. And I'm just going to lay it in the red. Now the way it worked, this oil works on eggs is that where the oil kind of sticks, the eggs don't pick up any color. And of course they have a fold under there, so I'm trying to pick that up. There we go. Okay, so that was yellow, and I just laid it in the red. I don't know if we'll be able to see a difference right away or not. But here is that color, and I don't really see any difference. As a matter of fact, I don't really see any color yet. So we'll see what happens with that. It is a different color though than the red. As you can see, this is the same side of the 3x5 card, and that's just red. And this is the red with the yellow. So that's interesting. Although I don't think you'd want to do that until you had all your primary stuff done, because it does probably it will tinge, I would think, the remainder of the dye bath. So now I will go and do the rest of my dyeing, and I will come back later and show you the results, which will be about a second here. Hi, it's the next day. I have all those 5x8 cards that I worked on dyeing with the food dye and oil, and everything is dry now, and this is what it looks like. This is the heart that was previously coffee dyed, and then I put it in the red food dye with oil and vinegar, and now it has a really pretty kind of dull red modeling on both sides. I hope the light is good enough here, but it's really pretty, very delicate looking, and the oil doesn't seem to have damaged the paper at all. And then I also have, this was the black and white, this was the black with the white design, and the back was white with black. And you can see the oil's kind of almost giving the paper a translucent look. It's like you can see both sides of the paper at once. I really like it. Anyway, this I put in the green dye, and that is beautiful. It has a really pretty aqua blue coloring, really pretty. And this was yellow and blue that I put in the red food dye, and you can see the modeling on the paper is really pretty, and this kind of turned this a pretty purple color, and on this side just really pretty. And then this was my favorite kind of a rice photo paper that I use. It had been previously coffee dyed, and I put this in the blue food coloring with oil, and that has a really pretty look to it, and it hasn't damaged it at all. It does give it kind of a gloss appearance, very pretty. And then this was a piece of scrapbook paper, kind of has a linen texture, and I put this in the blue food coloring, and when I took it out I had it resting on a 3x5 card, and you can see that some of the color and the lines have transferred to the back of this piece of scrapbook paper. Really cool. And this is a yellow piece of scrapbook paper that I put in, I think I just put this into the yellow dye. And you can see that it laid on a 3x5 card, maybe, and some of the lines transferred onto this paper. Again, it has a pretty mottled look. I really like it. And then this is a piece of thinner scrapbook paper that I put into the red dye, and that's what that looks like. And then this one I think went into the green dye, and it's the same paper, and that's the difference in the appearance. Really pretty. So 3x5 card, laid on another 3x5 card, picked up a little bit of the line transfer, but you can see the color really hasn't been damaged. It does give it kind of a vintage translucent look that I really like. And here's another one. And again, it laid on other 5x8 cards and picked up some of the lines, but I like it. I think it looks pretty cool because this was printed on one side with the lines and the other side was blank. Really cool. And then there's this one. And again, picked up some of the line transfers. Really pretty. And then I found that if I left the card in the bath a little bit longer, it came out a little darker. And you can kind of see, I think, the translucency. You can see my fingers almost through it. Really, really cool. I really like it. And you can see the translucency there too. It's like the lines come through to the other side. And that was just leaving it in a little bit longer. And here's one that was left in the green bath. Again, it has some translucency. And there's the green on the back. What I really need to show you is that it didn't hurt the paper. It looks translucent and mottled, but it's still behaving just like the paper or the cardstock. It's very light cardstock. And this is one that was left in the blue dye bath. And that's what the back looks like. You can see it's really pretty. It has modeling. Really pretty. And this was in the red. There's another one that was in the green, and this again has the translucency where the lines come all the way through onto the back side. And it looks translucent. You can see my fingers underneath it. And that was just leaving it in a little bit long, a few minutes longer. I think I set a timer for like, between 3 and 5 minutes. And this was one that was left in the red. And again, it's well modeled. The lines kind of come through to the back. And it has some translucency. And then I have one that was in the yellow. And that's really pretty. It came out like a lemon yellow. Very pretty. I'm sure I get against the piece of white paper so that you can kind of see the color. This is one that is ombre. It has a graded effect between two colors. It was the blue and the red. Really pretty. And here is another one from the red dye bath. And again, it picked up some lines. And here's one that was left in the blue for a little bit. And again, has the translucency of being able to see my fingers through this cardstock, sort of. Lines go through to the back. Really pretty. Robin's egg blue type color. And then here's one that was left in the blue. Not quite as long, but you can see the oil, how the oil kind of leaves blank spaces. And it models the paper. Really pretty. And all of that has kind of set me up to now wanting to see if I could use RIT dye. I'm sorry, my furnace turned on, so now you're going to hear my furnace for a while. To use RIT dye and try this oil and vinegar technique on some cross-stitch fabric. So that will be coming soon. This morning I decided that maybe I should, since I said that I got the idea for this technique from the Easter eggs that my grandmother used to do for us at Easter time, I did another batch of green food coloring. Would have been nice if I'd thought of it yesterday while I had the original, but I didn't. But this is a hard-boiled egg that I boiled, and I put it in the refrigerator overnight because I did it this morning. I created some more. This is just the green food coloring. And that's what the egg going through the oil, how the coloring impacts the egg. Really, really pretty. And you can double dip and get different coloring outcome, you know, one color to the next. But you have to be careful because the coloring, you'll get a lot of brown eggs if you do too much cross coloring. And then this is a blue one. Isn't that beautiful? It gets a really pretty mottled effect. And this isn't even Easter egg dye, which is more intense. This is just that old food coloring that I had in my cupboard. So that was a lot of fun. And then this morning I just decided to use more of it than just for the eggs. So I had some photo paper, glossy on one side, that I dipped in the dye. And it's kind of weird because the white side, the non-glossy side, really doesn't have color, but the glossy side does. And it does have a little bit of modeling on it. Some of these are still a little damp. I tried some pieces of ribbon. I should probably put them on white paper so you can see that they did pick up color. It's faint on the viewfinder, but I did a blue one and a green one. And then I also did some die cuts, but you can't really tell on these because these were cardboard type cuts, like a gray cardstock to begin with. But it did give it some nice modeling effects. That would be really nice in a vintage style journal. Very pretty. And then I did do it, take those off of there. I also did it on a couple of pieces of tulle. This was just white tulle. And I did one white, one blue. Hoping that's in the viewfinder. One blue and one green, just to test it. And then I do have some blue flowers. This was a combination of the blue and green on one flower. You can see the beautiful modeling, like on that petal there. It really came out very delicate looking and beautiful. This is just a white cardstock. And that's the flip side. Really pretty. And I just did these in a couple of teacups, you know, like regular egg dyeing. I just put the paper scraps into the same dye bath I did the eggs in. And you can see the modeling here when I hold it up. It still has like a translucency to it. And that's the white side. And you can see, I'm not sure if you can see it there, but that's, I laid the tulle on it and you can kind of see the pattern from the tulle, almost a stencil pattern. And here's some more of those blue flowers, blue and green. They're not all blue, like that's a green one. And then this is a blue. Aren't they beautiful? I'm just so happy with the way these came out. I can't even begin to tell you. And then these are just some more of the strips that I did. And none of them are the same. And they're all beautiful. So I was really happy with that technique. And then this is just a piece of pink tea-dyed paper that I keep reusing and reusing. So I laid some of my flowers on this to dry. So I figure this will make a very interesting embellishment item at some point. So those are my oil and vinegar and regular old food coloring dyeing efforts. I hope that it piques your curiosity and maybe you might want to try it. It was a lot of fun. I had a good time. Those are the eggs that my grandmother made me all those, 45 years ago at Easter time that inspired it. It's not Visanki, but it's beautiful. And then the 3x5 cards that come up at various colors depending how long you leave them in the water. Excuse me. So I'm now going to go and start doing some Aida cloth. And this is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And please subscribe if you're not subscribed to my channel. I truly appreciate it. I love comments. If you have any questions, let me know. And I would be glad to try to answer. Have fun. Be kind, be courageous, be colorful, and experiment. Thanks for watching. Bye.